Today was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, and for most of it, it was. I married Claire Montgomery, the woman I have loved for 3 years, the woman who makes me laugh until I cry, the woman who sees past every wall I have ever built and loves me anyway. My name is Harper Reyes. I am 29 years old. I am a software engineer. I grew up in a working-class neighborhood in Oakland. My parents are immigrants who worked 2 jobs each to put me through college. I am the first person in my family to get a degree. I am practical, logical, and I do not believe in fairy tales. But Claire made me believe in them. Claire is a dermatologist. She comes from money. Old money. Her family is the kind that has a compound in Martha's Vineyard and memberships at country clubs. When I first met her at a tech conference 3 years ago, I thought there was no way someone like her would want someone like me. I was wrong. She did. She does. And today, in front of 200 people, in a venue that cost more than my first car, she became my wife. The ceremony was perfect. The reception was perfect. My family cried. Her family smiled politely, which for them is high praise. I wore a custom-tailored suit. Claire wore a dress that made her look like she stepped out of a dream. We danced. We cut cake. We toasted with champagne that cost more per bottle than my weekly grocery budget. It was perfect. Until it was not. The bouquet toss had just happened. Claire had thrown it with so much enthusiasm that it hit the ceiling before landing in the hands of her cousin Amanda, who shrieked with delight. Everyone was laughing. The DJ was playing something upbeat. The dance floor was packed. I needed air. Not because anything was wrong, but because I was overwhelmed. Happy overwhelmed. The kind where your chest feels too full and you need a moment to breathe. I stepped out onto the balcony. The venue was a historic mansion with a stone terrace overlooking gardens. It was late spring. The air smelled like jasmine. I leaned against the railing and looked up at the stars. I thought about how lucky I was. How impossibly, ridiculously lucky. That was when Sienna found me. Sienna is Claire's older sister. She is 31. She is a corporate lawyer at a firm in Manhattan. She is beautiful, successful, and intimidating in a way that makes you stand up straighter when she walks into a room. She was the maid of honor. She gave a speech at dinner that was witty and heartfelt and made Claire cry. I have always had a complicated relationship with Sienna. She is protective of Claire, which I respect. But she also looks at me sometimes like she is trying to figure out if I am good enough. I am not sure I will ever pass that test. She stepped onto the balcony. She was wearing a dark green dress that matched her eyes. Her hair was coming loose from its updo. She was holding a champagne flute, but it was mostly empty. "You made her so happy," she said. Her words were slightly slurred. I have never seen Claire like this. I smiled. I am lucky she chose me. Sienna leaned against the railing next to me. There was a long silence. It felt awkward. I was about to say something polite and excuse myself when she spoke again. "I need to tell you something. I think I—" She paused. She was looking at me in a way I could not read. "Sienna, are you okay?" I asked. "You had a lot of champagne." She stepped closer. Too close. I could smell the alcohol on her breath mixed with expensive perfume. And then she grabbed my face with both hands and kissed me. It was not a peck. It was a full kiss. Lips pressed against mine. Her hands in my hair. My brain short-circuited. For 2 full seconds, I could not process what was happening. It was like my system crashed. Error. Does not compute. Then I shoved her. Hard. She stumbled backward in her heels. "What the fuck?" I said. My voice was too loud. My heart was pounding. She had tears in her eyes. "I am sorry," she said. I needed to know." "Know what? I just married your sister." I know. Fuck." She wiped her eyes, smearing mascara. "Please do not tell her. Please." It was the alcohol. It did not mean anything. I stared at her. My hands were shaking. "You need to leave. Now. Harper, please. Go!" She looked at me for 1 more second, then turned and walked back inside. I stood there alone, breathing hard. I could hear the music from the reception. I could hear laughter. Someone was singing along to the chorus of a song I did not recognize. I looked down at my hands. They were trembling. I touched my lips. I could feel the residue of her lipstick. A different shade than mine. Evidence. I felt sick. I felt violated. I felt guilty, even though I had not done anything wrong. That is the thing about being a good person. When bad things happen to you, your first instinct is to ask what you did to cause it. I went inside. I found the bathroom. I locked the door. I washed my face. I scrubbed my mouth. I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were wild. I looked like I had seen a ghost. I took deep breaths. I told myself it was fine. It was nothing. She was drunk. It was a mistake. I would forget about it. We would all forget about it. I went back to the reception. Claire found me immediately. She was glowing. "There you are." She pulled me onto the dance floor. "You okay, baby?" "Yeah," I said, just overwhelmed. Happy tears. She kissed me. A real kiss. The kind that made me forget everything else for a moment. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too," I said. And I meant it, with everything in me. But even as I held her, even as we danced, I could not shake the feeling. Something had shifted. Something was wrong. The rest of the reception passed in a blur. We said goodbye to guests. We thanked everyone for coming. My parents hugged me so tight I thought my ribs would crack. Claire's parents gave us polite hugs and reminded us about brunch the next morning. We went to the hotel, the honeymoon suite. There were rose petals on the bed and champagne on ice. Claire laughed when she saw it. "So cliché," she said. "We made love. Or we tried to." I could not be fully present. My mind kept going back to the balcony, to Sienna's hands on my face, to the feeling of wrongness. Claire fell asleep curled against me. I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what to do. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing. Claire was still asleep next to me, her hair spread across the pillow like gold. She looked so peaceful, so happy. I picked up my phone. 3 texts, all from Sienna. The first one said, "We need to talk, before you say anything to Claire." My stomach dropped. The second one said, "I was drunk. I made a mistake. But if you tell her, I will have to defend myself. And my version might be different than yours. People saw us on the balcony alone. Who do you think her family will believe? Her working-class wife or her sister, who has known them forever?" I read it twice, then 3 times. It was not an explicit threat, but the implication was clear. If I told Claire what happened, Sienna would claim I initiated it, or that I reciprocated. She would make it look like it was mutual. The third text said, "I am not trying to hurt anyone. I just need time to figure this out. Can you give me that?" I put the phone down. My hands were shaking again. I felt rage. I felt helplessness. I felt trapped. Claire's phone lit up on the nightstand. A group text from her family. I could see the preview. "Beautiful wedding. Claire, you looked like a princess. So happy for you both." I looked at my wife, my beautiful, trusting wife, and I felt something break inside me. Sienna was asking me to carry a secret, to protect her, to lie by omission. And if I did not, she would twist the truth. She would make me look guilty of something I did not do. I got out of bed carefully, so I would not wake Claire. I went into the bathroom. I sat on the edge of the tub and put my head in my hands. I am not a perfect person, but I am an honest one. I do not lie. I do not cheat. I do not cross boundaries. It is the one thing I have always been able to count on about myself, my integrity. And now someone was asking me to compromise it, to start my marriage with a secret, to protect someone who had violated me. I thought about my parents, about how they worked themselves to the bone to give me opportunities, about how they taught me to always do the right thing even when it was hard, especially when it was hard. I thought about Claire, about how she trusted me completely, about how she looked at me like I hung the moon, and I knew what I had to do. But knowing and doing are 2 different things. The next day was torture. We had brunch with Claire's family. Sienna was there. She looked tired, hungover. She barely made eye contact with me. Claire was oblivious, chatting with her mother about thank you cards and honeymoon plans. We were supposed to leave for our honeymoon in 4 days, 2 weeks in Italy. Florence, Rome, the Amalfi Coast. Claire had been planning it for months. I could not enjoy any of it. Every time Claire touched me, I flinched. Every time she smiled at me, I felt guilty. Not because I had done anything wrong, but because I was keeping something from her. That night back at our apartment, Claire was unpacking wedding gifts. She was humming. She was so happy. I was sitting on the couch staring at my phone, at Sienna's texts. I had not responded. "Claire," I said. My voice sounded strange. "I need to tell you something. About the wedding." She looked up, smiling. "What? Did someone get too drunk?" "I saw Uncle Bob knock over a centerpiece. It is about Sienna." Her smile faded. She put down the wine glasses she was holding and sat down next to me. "What about her?" My heart was pounding. "Something happened on the balcony. During the bouquet toss. She kissed me." Silence. Claire stared at me. "What do you mean she kissed you?" I was outside alone. She came out. She was drunk. "She said something about never seeing you so happy, and then she just grabbed me and kissed me." I pushed her away immediately. I told her to leave. Claire's face went pale. "You are saying my sister kissed you at our wedding?" "Yes. And I need you to know I did not want it. I did not do anything to encourage it. But she texted me yesterday, and she is implying that if I tell you, she will say it was mutual. She is threatening me, Claire." Claire stood up. She started pacing. "Sienna would not. She is competitive, but she would not." Then she stopped. She turned to look at me. Her eyes were wet. "No, actually, she would." She sat down again, but not close to me. There was space between us now. Physical space that felt like a canyon. "Did you kiss her back?" she asked. Her voice was very quiet. "No." I froze for like 2 seconds because I was shocked. Then I shoved her away. "And you are telling me now because?" "Because she asked me not to." And that made me realize I cannot start our marriage with a secret. Even if telling you hurts, you deserve the truth. Claire put her face in her hands. She started crying. Not loud, angry crying. Quiet, broken crying. The kind that hurts to hear. My sister, at my wedding. I reached for her hand. She let me take it, but she did not squeeze back. "I am so sorry," I said. She looked up at me. Her face was red and blotchy. "You have nothing to apologize for. I am sorry she did that to you." We sat there for a long time. Neither of us spoke. The silence was heavy. Finally, Claire said, "I need to talk to her. I do not think that is a good idea right now. I do not care. She kissed my wife. On my wedding day, I need to hear her say it." She picked up her phone. She called Sienna. It rang 4 times before Sienna answered. "Claire?" Her voice sounded wary. "Come to my apartment. Now." "Claire? What is this about? You know exactly what this is about. You have 20 minutes. She hung up. We waited. Claire made tea. She did not drink it. I sat at the kitchen table. I felt numb. 17 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Claire answered it. Sienna stood there, still in work clothes. She looked between us. "Can I come in?" she asked. Claire stepped aside. Sienna walked in. She saw me at the table. Her face flushed. Claire closed the door. She crossed her arms. "Say it." Sienna looked at the floor. "Say what?" "Say what you did at my wedding." Sienna was quiet for a long moment. Then she said very quietly, "I kissed Harper." "Why?" Sienna's eyes filled with tears. "I do not know. I was drunk. I was not thinking. That is not an answer." Claire's voice was cold. I had never heard her sound like that. "Try again." Sienna looked up. Her mascara was running. "Because I was jealous, okay? I was jealous. You looked so happy. And I have never had that. I have worked my whole life to be the best at everything, and you just You get everything so easily. And I saw you with Harper and I do not know. I snapped. So you kissed my wife. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to RSVP to a party. A mistake is wearing the wrong shoes. What you did was assault my wife and then threaten her to keep quiet about it. Sienna's face crumpled. I did not mean to threaten her. I was scared. I did not want to lose you. You did lose me. Claire's voice broke. You lost me the second you did that. Do you understand? You are my sister. You were supposed to protect us. And instead, you violated her. On our wedding day. Sienna was sobbing now. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Please, I will do anything. Get out. Claire, please, get out of my house. Get out of my life. I do not want to see you. I do not want to hear from you. You are done. Sienna looked at me. Harper, please. I shook my head. You do not get to ask me for anything. She left. The door closed behind her. Claire stood there for a moment, staring at the door. Then she turned and walked into the bedroom. I heard the door close. I sat at the kitchen table alone. I had done the right thing. I knew I had done the right thing. So why did I feel so terrible? The next few days were hard. Claire called her parents. She told them what happened. They did not believe her at first. They thought it was a misunderstanding. When Claire insisted, they got defensive. They said Sienna was going through a hard time. They said maybe Harper had misinterpreted. Claire told them if they did not believe her, they could leave too. That got their attention. There was a family meeting. I was not invited. Claire went alone. She came back 3 hours later, exhausted. She told me that Sienna had admitted everything. She told me that her parents had agreed Sienna needed help, therapy, time away from the family. Claire also told me that some of her relatives thought she was overreacting, that it was just a drunken kiss, that she should forgive and move on. She told them all to go to hell. We canceled the honeymoon. Not permanently, just postponed. We needed time to process, to heal. We started couples counseling, not because our marriage was falling apart, but because we wanted to make sure it did not. Our therapist told us that trauma, even vicarious trauma, affects relationships. She told us that what happened to me was a violation, and that Claire was allowed to grieve the loss of trust in her sister. She also told us that honesty, especially painful honesty, is the foundation of a strong marriage. 6 months later, things were different. Not perfect, but different. Claire and I were stronger. We had gone through something terrible together and come out the other side. We learned how to communicate when things were hard. We learned how to hold space for each other's pain. Sienna was in therapy. She had stopped drinking. She had written me a letter apologizing. I had not responded. I was not ready. Maybe I never would be. That was okay. Claire had started talking to her again. Limited contact, supervised, they were working through it. I did not participate in that process. I did not have to. Some of Claire's family still looked at me funny at gatherings. Some of them still thought I was the problem. That was their issue, not mine. My family had been incredible. When I told my mom what happened, she cried. Then she said, in Spanish, "You did the right thing. Always tell the truth, even when it costs you something." And it had cost me something. It cost me a peaceful start to my marriage. It cost me a honeymoon. It cost me a relationship with my sister-in-law. It cost me the approval of some of Claire's family. But it did not cost me my integrity. It did not cost me my wife's trust. It did not cost me my marriage. Claire and I were sitting on our couch. It was a Saturday morning. We were drinking coffee. She was reading a book. I was scrolling through my phone. She looked up at me. Hey. Hey, I said. I am glad you told me. I looked at her. Really? Really? She put her book down. I know it was hard. I know you were scared. But you told me the truth when it would have been easier to lie. And that means everything to me. I did not know what you would do. I was terrified you would not believe me. She reached over and took my hand. I will always believe you. Always. We sat there, holding hands, drinking coffee. The sun was coming through the window. Everything was quiet. It was not the fairy tale start to a marriage that I had imagined, but it was real, and real was better. My wife's sister kissed me at our wedding. She threatened me to keep quiet, and I told the truth anyway. Because some things are worth protecting, even when it cost you everything. And the truth is one of them. If I could go back and change what happened, I would. But I would not change what I did after. I would tell the truth again, every time, because that is what love is. Not the fairy tale, not the perfect wedding, not the flawless beginning. Love is choosing honesty when lies would be easier. Love is doing the right thing, even when it hurts. Love is building something real, even when real is complicated and messy and hard. Claire is my wife. She is my partner. She is the person I choose every single day, and she chooses me back. Not because we are perfect, but because we are honest. And that is enough.